How's it going? What fun this is. So I'm making a pizza while I'm talking to you, so if you hear noises or I seem distracted, that's what I'm doing. Um, been having a few exchanges with the Dapper Dino channel again, and so I'm going to show Dr. Hovind uh, some of our replies from a couple years ago because somebody made a comment and revived a discussion thread on a video that I hadn't commented on for a couple of years, and it brought me back to his channel. And I was just reading through some of the comments and responding to, he's got a bunch of followers and Patreon supporters, and he's clearly doing this to make money. I don't get any monetary compensation from my channel at all. I don't have that many followers. I got maybe 250 followers or so. Not important to me. If the word gets out and if I help one person receive eternal life, man, jackpot. I've hit the jackpot. So that's where my concern is. That's where my head is. But this guy was arguing about, can creationists even read? Can creationists even understand words? Obviously. He just wants to bait me onto his channel so he can debate me and gain views and gain money. I'm not playing that game. He won't argue with me in the comments. He says I don't debate in the comments, but he'll go along and comment back and forth with every one of his his tribe of believers or supporters or whatever you want to call it, all the evolutionism disciples that gathered together. And they spend all their time trying to make me out as an imbecile, which I'm clearly not, and make themselves seem more important than they are. One guy was criticizing me about my English, and he couldn't even spell the word physical. He couldn't. His grammar was horrible. He would have gotten an F in any school that I went to. So I wanted to talk to you real quickly about, and I made this comment on somebody else's comment because they were at least respectful and they didn't, do the ad hominem thing. That's Dapper Dino's shtick. He goes for the ad hominem. He tries to call me dumb, etc., etc. But the argument was that macroevolution exists, and I said, well, if macroevolution exists, by the way, I'm using sandwich-sized pepperoni. I love these big pepperonis. I doctor up my frozen pizzas with the way I like it. I put fresh mushrooms on it and extra cheese. So if macroevolution exists and we are descended from apes, as they say, well, why just apes? Why have no other species on Earth evolved into complex, sophisticated societies with travel and science, and we don't see any bird people or descendants from birds with their splitting the atom or going to war with weaponry or creating roads and aqueducts and digging Suez canals and things like that. We don't see any other cultures, any other species on the planet evolving to the point where we've evolved, allegedly. We don't see any fish people. We don't see any mer culture under the sea. I heard a knocking. I thought it was a knocking at the door. So why is that? Why don't we see any other evolution? If we evolved from apes, okay? Humans evolved from apes. Doesn't logic and just the sheer Vegas odds dictate that there would be other species as advanced as humans that evolved parallel to us? Wouldn't that make sense? Why is it just one line of ancestry got lucky? Over and over and over and over again, we eternally got lucky. We came up with sevens every time. You know, we evolved from single-celled organisms to apes, eventually to apes, and then from apes to the humans that we are today. What are the Vegas odds on that? That none other, you know, the old argument used to be, well, if evolution is true, why are there still monkeys? Well, we know why there's still monkeys. We know why there's still apes, because evolutionism is a hoax. But if it were true, okay, if it were true, wouldn't you expect that other apes would evolve into a different line? That maybe they wouldn't become human, maybe they'd become some sort of a hybrid between ape and human, something that kind of resembles us, but not really human, not really ape, something else entirely. And wouldn't we see them on the planet? Wouldn't we be competing with them on the planet for resources and food and fuel? You know, which also brings up the argument, why would creatures evolve competition for food? Why would that happen? You know, if they're going along, evolving and surviving and developing as a species, you would think that lost my train of thought. I just got a text. Well, anyway, you would think that if one could do it, then others would be able to do it. In fact, it would be almost an infinite number of variations that would evolve over the course. We're talking billions of years here, millions and billions of years. So, if macroevolution is true, if macroevolution actually did take place in our case, logic just dictates that it would have happened other places as well. And we don't see that. We don't see fish people. You know, there are no great societies under the sea other than in Disney movies. We don't have bird people with avian societies or half human looking birds, or not even half human looking birds, birds that look like, you know, dogs or something like that. You know, it wouldn't necessarily have to be humanoid. You know, we have that humanoid slant towards things because we're human. But if macroevolution took place, if single-celled organisms evolved from single-celled organisms into all the complex life that you see today, why is it that humans are the only ones that use advanced tools? I mean, I know some monkeys use a stick and a rock once in a while, or things like that, and we call them tools, but, you know, I don't see monkeys creating DeWalt cordless drills and Makita circular saws or anything like that, or, you know, what we know as tools. I don't see them making cars and nuts and bolts and screws and computers and, like I said earlier, splitting the atom and doing all the things that humans have done. Just humans have evolved into this advanced species, the species that makes clothing out of plants and animal skins and puts silk screening on them. You know, it's a plug for a club I play. It just makes no sense, absolutely no sense. If it happened one time, it should happen almost an infinite number of times. We should be overrun with sentient, advanced creatures from a bunch of different walks of life, a bunch of different species should have evolved similarly and parallel to humans if macroevolution was true. I hope that made sense. Like I said, I'm doing it. Would you like to see my pizza? Pepperoni, mushroom, extra, extra, extra cheese. We love our pizza. Anyway, so answer me this, Dapper Dino, if you can. Tell me what the Vegas odds are that we're the only ones. Okay? Jimmy the Greek. Contact Jimmy the Greek and say, hey, Jimmy, what are the odds that we would be the only advanced species to evolve on this planet if macroevolution was true? Have a great Monday.